Hello, my name is Malin, and one thing that I could connect to from this module was specifically the YouTube video on the resegregation of American schools from ABC News that was in these slides. I could really connect to this because, like the girl in the video, for my high school experience, I took two buses to get to my school. I ended up having to leave from 6 a.m. just to get there at 8 because I had to take two long buses. And I do have a high school that is like 5 minutes down my street, but it isn't a school that my parents wanted me to attend because it didn't have the same opportunities, and it was just not a good environment just because of news and history and things like that there. So I decided to go to the school across town, but of course that meant me getting home later. Like the girl in the video talked about, she would get home around 7, and I also would get home around 6 when school ended at almost 4. It was about 3:30, and then taking the bus and having to take another one, it really made me feel tired at times. And then sometimes I would get home and it would already be dark, so it would be really tiring to do homework and study, which made it really difficult. But I did end up having a good experience in that school, and it was just all about me having the mindset of the challenges would bring that it would bring a good future to me. This is also something that my parents always told me, that things do get hard, but it'll all be worth it in the end, and it was true. So this school had a lot more opportunities, and specifically something that the girl had mentioned around minute 3, she said, I struggled finding people that look like me and resonating with what was being taught to me. I resonate with this so much because that school was mostly white kids, and a lot of the things that we were taught didn't have anything to do with Hispanic culture. Like when I got into college, I did end up taking a few ethnicity and race classes as well, and I learned about so much history about not just Hispanic culture, but Asian culture, African American culture, and history that schools just don't teach at all. I was honestly shocked to find out so much of it, of segregation between Hispanic kids and also Asian students. I just learned this like a year ago. I was shocked because I never learned this in high school. You're only mostly taught about the well-known events of segregation, but you aren't taught about it wasn't just one race, it was multiple races as well. And I just find it really interesting because I know that schools don't all teach the same curriculum. It's really based off of community, I feel like, is what I've seen patterns of. And going back to connecting with the curriculum, I know that some students often felt like their peers didn't look like them, so it made them disinterested in even going to school because they didn't have anyone to connect with. And that's also important in education, because educational inequality goes deeper than funding and opportunity. Students who aren't represented in the material or feel connected to their peers feel excluded and less engaged in their education, which affects their chance of succeeding. I'll also add that this video was on slide 9 of the inequality, race and ethnicity and opportunity gap presentation slides. And as for part 2, I believe that educational inequality is created through systemic challenges like redlining, segregation, unequal opportunities and funding, and ignored cycles. Some information that I found in one of the readings from The Production and Reproduction of Education by Yisha Howe, I believe that's how it's pronounced, and what I got from this was unequal opportunities in education because of location. An important quote I found from here where she says, children's zip code determines their future. And this quote ties into how generations often repeat cycles by not having access to higher quality education, and there are limits to the opportunities and better paying careers, which continues the cycle of poverty. On page 110 you can find this quote. And another source that really stuck out to me was from the YouTube video The Disturbing History of the Suburbs by True TV on YouTube. And the main idea that I got from this was redlining. So a direct quote was, through 1938 and 1968, 98% of home loans were given to white families only. And this quote relates roughly to my main idea because redlining denied home loans to minority families, which kept racial segregation alive and has led to generational poverty. Systems were built against people of color, which is why they continue to work. And often people don't have the opportunities to break these cycles, and that is why it just continues to happen. And also because these systemic challenges are often ignored, so that's why nothing has been done about them. These things have been going on for generations and generations for so long, but it is so hard to break cycles when systems were really built against people of color, which is why they continue to work, unfortunately.